Okay, I'm just going to get a few things set up, and the first thing that I'm going to do is check on my phone and make sure that I am streaming and that you guys can hear me and that everything is going as planned. So give me just a second here. Just 1 minute. I just really want to make sure that this is working. So I'm going to click on this random video on my channel and then go to my channel and then make sure, and I will turn my volume significantly down. Perfect. Okay. Welcome, everyone, to my BrailleSense 6 Fundamentals. I am very excited to be here with you guys. I am super pumped to start talking about this device with you all. I'm going to be sharing the link around. And I am going to be sending it to some people who I think might benefit. I've been planning this for a long time. Once I start seeing some people coming in, if you guys are interested, if you will just wait, I am going to be starting in about 5 minutes. Again, once I see some people joining. I hope everyone is having a great day so far. I definitely am having a great day. I had some trouble this morning with getting my capture device to work. I had to get an HDMI capture device so that I could stream the BrailleSense screen for you guys, and it was just being a pain all around, but I got it to work, and those HDMI capture devices are rather expensive. I'm using, oh, just to let you guys know my setup in case someone else wants to stream. I wasn't entirely sure how I was going to make this happen, but I figured out the BrailleSense 6 has a video USB-C port. It's the bottom port that has a V over it. And if I plugged a USB-C to HDMI cable into that, then I got this Elgato 4K HDMI capture device, plugged the HDMI end of my USB-C to HDMI cable into that, and then plugged it via USB into my computer. Then I can stream through OBS and select the capture device and therefore the video, the BrailleSense screen as my video device. And so that was what I did. I'm sure there are simpler ways. I do know that you can wirelessly screen mirror through. I'm so sorry, guys. I got a little distracted. You can wirelessly screen mirror through I'm so sorry. Google Meet. You can do it through Google Meet. I didn't, but I know you can, and that may be an easier option for some people who don't want to spend $100 on a capture device. I slightly regret doing so, but it is what it is. Give me just one moment to plug in my computer. I just realized that it might die throughout this demonstration, and that wouldn't be good. So just give me 1 second here. As far as other ways to achieve what I achieved, I know that it supports Zoom, so you could screen share through Zoom and record the meeting. That was my original thought. I just couldn't quite get it to work for me. but I'm sure that was a user error and not a BrailleSense problem. So I'm seeing some people coming in, I think, which is great. I apparently have to sign in. I don't think I can watch this from my own account. So let me, I think I have another Gmail account that I had a while ago that I can probably sign into. Um, yes, add another account. Okay. Give me just 1 second, guys. I'm so sorry. I didn't think this far ahead, but goes to show that I am doing this without enough preparation. No, that I'm doing this in real time. This is not a like planned out structured thing, but I just want to be able to read my live chat on my phone with my other braille display so that you guys are not having to hear my NVDA reading the chat, which I'm sure would be kind of loud and obnoxious. So we don't want that. I don't want that. I don't know if you guys want that, but I certainly don't. Um, so I'm gonna try to sign in with my other Gmail account. See if that works. Fingers crossed. Oh, good. My braille display temporarily disconnected. Love that. Uh, there we go. Okay, it did let me sign in to another account. Um, Amazing. Okay. Okay, so I can see your live chat now. If someone who's watching could just send something in the live chat so that I can, like, make sure that I'm getting these chats in real time. If if it's working properly. If so, we'll go ahead and get started. Oh my gosh, YouTube. What's going on? Oh, thank you. Yep, I'm getting it. Okay, awesome. Let me just share this with one other person who I think was interested, and then I will get started. Thank you for everyone watching. I really appreciate it. This was a long time coming. As soon as I started using the BrailleSense, I knew that I wanted to talk about it, and I'll kind of give my reasoning why in just a second, um, and why I think that this is a really important topic. Um, the BrailleSense and the HIMS, or I think it's called Selvis in the U.S. now, but the Selvis company is, in my opinion, really underrated. It bothers me how little we talk about HIMS and or Silvis products. It bothers me a lot because I think that a lot of the other companies are kind of partnering with each other. They're sharing, their merchandise in more places in the U.S. Schools are more likely to get a humanware or APH device because of federal quota or just whatever their reasoning is. Um, and so these HIM devices don't get the kind of attention and the kind of recognition that they deserve. There are a few main reasons why I am so happy with my BrailleSense, and I'll kind of list those reasons now. Number one, the actual quality of the device is significantly better than the humanware devices I've used in the past. Another reason is that they are using more kind of um, experimental functions and different applications that I have not seen on any other note taker and certainly not on a humanware or APH note taker, which I think are the most common ones. Um, and the tech support that I received from HIMS was professional, friendly, helpful, and all around their company is just so good. I mean, I've just been very impressed the whole time with everything that they've been doing. And that's something that I love to see. And I'm not trying to rag on these other companies. Certainly, I think that I mean, I'm using a Brailliant, a humanware device right now to read these chats. I think there's a place for everything. And I certainly think that a lot of these companies are doing amazing. I mean, the Brailliant is a very affordable, the 20 cell Brailliant is a very affordable device. It's only about $2,000. It can connect to multiple Bluetooth devices at once, which is great for me. It just wears out quickly. I just had to get mine fixed after only having it for a few months. But that's not the device we're talking about. Let's talk about the star of the show, the BrailleSense 6. I will first give you guys a physical description of the BrailleSense 6. Now, I'm using the 32 cell model. There is also a 20 cell model called the BrailleSense 6 Mini that is about $1,000 cheaper. And again, it only has 20 cells. I have a close friend who has that model, and it seems to be just as amazing as the 32 cell. The 32 cell is just the one that I happen to have. Now, this 32 cell device, to be upfront with a few things, is almost $6,000. It is a hefty price point. The thing that I said in my review video is that I am never going to say that something is worth that much money because, in my personal opinion, I do not believe that any of these Braille devices are worth $6,000. I just don't. But I think that because we're not going to get anything better, I do believe if you are in the market for a note taker, you are going to get a note taker. This device, despite its price point, is going to be very high quality. It's going to work well. And if you're already going to get a note taker, it's worth it to get this one. So you guys should be seeing, and please let me know, any of my sighted audience, if this is working. I believe it is. It was working earlier. You should be seeing the main menu of this device. But before we get into that, I'll give you a physical description the best that I can. For my blind viewers, I'm going to try to be as descriptive as possible. All right, I'm going to be referring to the panel with the buttons as the top panel. Then we have the front panel, the left panel, right panel, rear panel, and back panel. The back panel is the bottom where the battery is going to be. Okay, on the front panel, from left to right, we have a key lock switch. Next to that, we have a media buttons mode switch, which can be media, app, or daisy mode. And that is going to determine what these next buttons, which are the 5 media buttons, do. They can either control daisy playback, media playback, or in those Android apps that you're going to be using with this device, it can control like moving around those apps. I don't have a lot of experience with that part of it, with controlling it with the Android apps, but I do know that the media buttons work well for daisy, and they work well for media playback like MP3 files. To the right of those buttons, there's a rectangular power button. On either side of the front panel are stereo microphones. Alright, on the left panel, this differs from the 20 cell model. I don't think the 20 cell model has an SD card slot, but on my device, I have a headphone jack, then a microphone jack, and they are labeled with an H and an M on the front panel above them. Then I have a full-size SD card slot. If the 20 cell has an SD card slot, I think it's a micro. And that is all that's going to be on this left panel. On the rear panel, the back of the device, there is a standard USB port, and that's all. On the right panel, there is a power and data USB-C port. That port is going to be for power, for charging the device, for connecting the device to a computer to use it as a USB Braille display, and for data transfer, like connecting it to a computer for data transfer. And that is marked with a P in Braille on the top panel above where this port is on the right panel. Then you have another standard USB port, not a C port, but like a regular USB port. And then you have another USB-C port that is marked with a V, and that is for video, like connecting it the way I did with a USB-C to HDMI cable if you want to display it on like a computer screen or on a like a monitor. One thing I'm going to say about this port is you cannot use a USB-C to HDMI from your BrailleSense to the computer because most HDMI ports on the computer are going to be HDMI output, not input. That is something I learned the hard way. I had to get a USB capture device, which I talked about a little bit, and those can be a little expensive. It does have plug and play USB to HDMI support onto a TV or monitor that has an HDMI port. Okay. Yes, that's all for the panels. Okay, on the front panel, which is the top of the device, that's where your display and your keyboard and everything are going to be. On the top of the device, there is an LCD screen. It's pretty small. I don't have measurements for this screen because I have really bad measuring skills. But I would say no, I'm not even going to try to give an estimate because I think I'll be extremely wrong. To the right of the screen, there are, I feel I think these may be LEDs, and then there are two stereo speakers on the top corners of the device. Below all of that, there's going to be a 9-key Perkins keyboard. To the left and right of the space, we have Control and Alt, and then to the left and right of those, let me describe this better. There on the far left of this row, there's F1, then F2, then Control, then Space, then Alt, then F3, and F4. And I accidentally just hit F4. My bad. Okay. Under that, there are 32 cursor routing buttons, and below those buttons is the 32 cell display. On the back side, there is a battery that does not come when you get the unit. The battery is not inside it. You have to take the unit out of the case and then put the battery in, and then put the case back on. The battery only goes in one way. I was a little panicky about putting it in wrong, but it can't go in wrong, thankfully. Um, oh, I forgot. I'm sorry. On the left panel, below the microphone and headphone jacks are volume buttons. There's a volume up and volume down. Forgot to mention that. Okay. Let's get into the actual device. I think this device comes with 128 gigs of storage. That's a lot of storage. If you need more storage, you can connect flash drives, you could connect an SD card, you could connect a USB hub and then put a bunch of flash drives in, I suppose. And so that's really nice for storage. It does support a lot of USB devices. It does support a lot of USB devices. Sorry, I got a little sidetracked for a second. Um, you can connect a USB hub. You can connect USB or USB-C headphones. You can connect a mixing board. I mean, there's just so much connectivity. Same with Bluetooth. It supports Bluetooth headphones. It supports Bluetooth keyboards, USB keyboards. Just like so mice, I suppose. I don't know what you'd want a mouse for with a BrailleSense, but I think it might support it. This device is running Android 12, a fairly new Android operating system for a Braille device. That was what I was very impressed about. You have your scroll key. Sorry, I forgot to mention another thing. To the left and right of the Braille display, you have up and down scroll keys. Those are going to be similar to, if you know humanware devices, what the thumb keys do on the humanware devices. You can use these to pan. I'm panning through my main menu right now. All right. I'll give an overview of the applications that come on this device, and then I'll talk a little bit about how to use those, maybe show some of them for you guys. There's a file manager. This is where you're going to manage files. The file manager, something that I think is really cool, supports the regular flash disk, which again comes with 128 gigs. I have an SD card plugged in. This is a 64 gig SD card. It supports Google Drive, OneDrive, and Dropbox. So all these cloud storage options are built in to the file manager. If you have accounts on those, you can log in and see, you can view your files on Dropbox, Google Drive, and OneDrive. And that's also how you can I'm sorry. That's also how you can send files to other people. So let's say you work in a business environment, you can send files through one of these cloud storage options to employers or to coworkers. If you work with students, one thing I think that's great for TVIs is your student, if you have Dropbox or Google Drive or OneDrive, although I personally prefer Dropbox, And I have a Dropbox premium membership where I get like 2 terabytes of storage for super cheap. Um, but you can upload files for your students, and then once they finish them, it's already there. You can just have access to them on the computer. I think that is such an amazing feature that I would have loved in school. I remember when I was in middle and high school, I was having to use like flash drives, like take things off of a flash drive and put them on my Braille note at the time, and then do it, and then try to email it back, but it had weird IMAP configurations for email, and so sometimes it wouldn't go through, and it was just super irritating and frustrating. Having a built-in system like this would have been such a lifesaver for me. Again, I use Dropbox. I've just always loved Dropbox. I think it's so effortless, and you can make as many folders as you want, and it just works. And especially with my computer, Dropbox just is really nice and looks like the same sort of file storage options as like my regular computer. So going between folders and everything just is very seamless for me. But Google Drive also a great option. I know a lot of schools use Google Classroom, so Google Drive and Google Classroom would of course um, work well together. Next, you have the word processor. This is for there's a word processor and a notepad. The word processor, as I understand it, is for creating or editing or viewing documents for sighted people that you're going to be printing or that like a sighted person is going to be looking at. It has more formatting options to look more visually pleasing, whereas the notepad is going to be for creating braille or plain text documents that you're going to be embossing or sending to other blind people or keeping for yourself. The main difference is that the word processor only has printing capabilities, so printing to a printer, whereas Notepad has embosser capabilities. This is interesting, and it's something I want to point out for anyone else who uses this embosser. I have a View Plus Columbia embosser with a Tiger box. When the Tiger box is connected, I can emboss to the Tiger box with the word processor, but it's going to do all its onboard translation like it would when I'm printing from, let's say, my AirPrint option on my phone. So if you're creating something in the word processor and sending it to a VP Columbia or another View Plus embosser through the Tiger box, it's going to show up as a printer. If you want to emboss a Braille file without translation, let's say a BRF or BRL file, you're going to want to not use the Tiger box and you're going to want to plug in the USB cable and emboss through Notepad. That may only apply to me. I may be the only one using a View Plus embosser, but that's just something I learned, something I haven't read anywhere else or seen, so I wanted to put that as something to note. So it may be helpful for someone else. All right, so that's the notepad and the word processor. Next, we have email. It does support on the device. You can choose Google, Exchange, or something else. Samnet, maybe. A lot of or Outlook. I think there are a few email, like what are they called? Email types. I don't know what word I'm looking for. Like Gmail or Outlook that it supports. You can also do manual. Like I was able to get my iCloud email on there. If you're doing that, just look up the IMAP and SMTP settings for whatever email. I can't think of the word I'm looking for. um, like iCloud. Look up whatever the IMAP and SMTP settings are for that, and then enter those and choose manual. I did a video where I walked people through how to do that for an iCloud email address, if that's helpful. If it's not iCloud, I would just Google the settings. The email client is really great. It works very well. You can send emails, you can read emails, you can send attachments. It works better than I've seen an email client work on a lot of note takers. All right, next we have the media menu. In here we have a media player where you can play any kind of MP3, M4A, WAV, any of those kind of media files. We have an FM radio. You do have to have a headphone, like you'd have to have headphones plugged in for that, because it uses the cable as an antenna. Podcasts, where you can listen to podcasts. Web radio, sort of like the FM radio, but it uses internet radio options. Um, I'm not sure what internet radio servers it uses. It's pretty cool though. It's definitely something to look at. Voice recorder. This is great for if you're in college, you want to record lectures, or, you maybe, like for me, I take voice lessons and I record them so that I can play them back and see where I messed up or what I need to work on. Um, Video search, this was an add-on that I installed because I wanted to see what it was like. It's a very simplified voice search thing for YouTube. Once it finds results, if you click enter on them, as far as I know, it just opens YouTube anyway. So I guess it's a more simplified way to search for things. I haven't found it to be extremely useful, but maybe I'm just using it wrong. All right, we're gonna back out of there. The library menu. Daisy Player is where you can read books from Bookshare or any kind of Daisy files. It supports Daisy audio and text. A document reader, it's just like the word processor or the notepad, except that it's only in read-only mode. So like you can't edit documents in this. I think that's probably for like if you have books that you want to read and you don't want the risk of accidentally editing them, but they're like BRF files or whatever. Online Daisy, this does not apply to people in the US. It does apply to people in Canada or Australia, and it's just sort of like their Bookshare libraries or NLS libraries, or they're just Daisy libraries for Canada and Australia. Bookshare download, that is where you can get books from Bookshare. It works really well. I can also walk you guys through how to set that up if that's helpful, because I know a lot of people in a lot of schools use Bookshare. I love Bookshare, and so that's something I've used a lot. So if anyone wants me to talk about that, please just put in the chat and I'll go through how to download books and how to get your account set up. The Sense Bible. This is another add-on. It's just a Bible. You can like go through it by chapter or verse or whatever. I haven't used it, but I just downloaded all the add-ons in the add-on thing to see what they were like. Bard Braille. Sorry, I got ahead of myself. Bard Braille. That is where you can download only Braille books from NLS Bard. There is a Bard app that you can get from the app installer or from the Play Store. This is just a simplified way of downloading specifically the Braille books. If you want to listen to Bard audio, which is usually what I do, you'll need to get the Bard mobile app from the Play Store or the app installer, and it's an Android app. NFB Newsline. This is where you can download stuff from the NFB Newsline. They have like newspapers and magazines and stuff. I have an account. I don't use it super often, but it can be very helpful if you like to read the newspaper or any sort of magazines you like. They have a lot of stuff on there. It's definitely worth checking out, and it's free, so that helps. Um, Organizer. There is currently an address manager. Think of this like the contacts app on your phone. You can add contacts, search for people's phone numbers. Pretty useful. The schedule manager, it's a calendar. You can add appointments and stuff like that. The database manager, this is where you can create databases. I don't know what this would be used for. Maybe if you like work in a store or something where you're keeping a lot of information or it's do you guys remember what are they called? Roll I think I'm gonna butcher this name, so that like card file thing where you have like Rolodex? Is that the word? Please don't make fun of me if that's not the word. Oh my God. I'm too young to know much about that, but where you can have like a bunch of cards and you can go through them and like put data on there. I guess it might be good for like recipes and stuff. Oh, hey, maybe that's what it could be used for, like for putting recipes and then whatever. But you can add fields to it and then um like search for entries that you made. Recipes. That's what I'm gonna use that for. To-do list. That's a to-do list. You can put things down. You can have it remind you when something is due soon. For like college students or people that have jobs where they have like a timeline for stuff they're doing, that could be really useful. Okay. Web tools. Web browser. Does anybody remember the web browser on the Braille Note Apex? If so, it's too much like that for me to like it. You have to have the web address, and if you want to search for something that's not a web address, you have to go to google.com and then search on google.com. It's just a little limited for my taste. I prefer to use Chrome, which I installed as an app in the Play Store. Google search, this is a very basic like search for something and find it. If you have like questions or whatever. Wiki search, you can search Wikipedia. BrailleSense ChatGPT. This is the first note taker I have ever seen to incorporate ChatGPT, and I'm so here for it. It's not as advanced as the ChatGPT app on like your iPhone or whatever, I don't think it's using the newest version of ChatGPT, and I think it's a little bit limited. Like, you can just ask it questions. I can kind of show you guys that in a second. Actually, let's do that now. What is the world's tallest mountain? And that's what it says. Data limit exceeded. So I don't think it actually works. I was hoping it wouldn't do that this time. That's what it was doing to me before. But, well, I should probably tell them it's doing that. Okay. Well, sorry, I can't show you that right now. Basically, what it used to do before it started doing that is just giving me an answer to a question, but you couldn't chat with it and, like, get it to do crazy stuff like you can on the phone. Like, my ChatGPT on my phone does, like, coding stuff for me. This is not that advanced at all. Um, okay, in the extras menu, we have an Excel viewer. This is where you can view spreadsheets. I'm not sure how a spreadsheet would look. If anyone has a spreadsheet, um, that I could load in here or something so I could see what it looks like and show you guys, I would appreciate that. If anyone like knows me and has my email or whatever, but like, um, because I don't have one or know where to get one or know what one even looks like. I personally have never seen a spreadsheet, but I hear people talk about them all the time. Um, Sense Dictionary, it's a dictionary. This used to be a paid thing on the older like U2 and Polaris models that you had to like pay for to use the dictionary. That's not the case anymore. It comes with all of the BrailleSense 6 units, so pretty cool. Color reader. I haven't tried this yet. I hope it's a good color reader. Some suck, but surely this would be better. Uh, then we have some games. Since Brain Game, Since Dice Game, and Since Roulette Game. They're just games. They're pretty fun. The Brain Game has a bunch of games in it. I'm not going to open it because it plays an annoying intro. But if you want to look at that, it's pretty cool. Definitely good for like teaching kids Braille or teaching, trying to get enjoyment from a note taker to get kids to want to use it. Trying to build some like actual interest. Okay, under utilities, we have a calculator. It's pretty good. BrailleSense Math. This is a graphing thing. I don't like graphs or math, so I haven't really messed with it much, but it seems to work okay. Display time and date. World clock. Display compass heading. It's a compass. Wake up alarm. Stopwatch. Terminal for screen reader. This is where you're going to be able to connect the BrailleSense through Bluetooth or USB to use as a Braille display. It works pretty well. Can't complain. Display network status, where you can check your Wi-Fi. Display power status, which you can also do with space dots 16. You can check the time with space T, which is 2345. I don't know how to check the date. If someone knows, tell me. I'm not sure. Backup or restore flash disk. Format, which is where you can like delete everything. Sleep timer. Macro manager. I'm not sure what that is yet. Upgrade BrailleSense firmware. That's where you can update, like do software updates. Then we have the settings menu, set time and date, set up internet for setting up your Wi-Fi, Bluetooth manager, menu manager. This is where if you don't like something or don't use something, or you have a student who you don't want to have access to certain things, you can take them off. You can hide them. That can be useful. Again, like say you have a student, you don't want them to have access to ChatGPT, or you don't want them to have access to um wiki search or to recording stuff or to the web radio. You can disable those things and hide them. You're not actually deleting them, you're just hiding them from the menu. For me, because I don't use Daisy Online, because I'm in the US, I might actually go in and disable that. And actually, I'll do that now to show you guys how that works. So I'm going to press enter on menu manager. Then I'm going to go all the way down through these things, through all my apps, and I'm going to see, hopefully, Daisy Online somewhere. I think I can hit D. I can't hit D. Okay. Oh, is it Online Daisy? It is. I'm so sorry, I missed it. Okay. Then I'm going to hit space to select it. Then I'm going to hit space 4-5, which is my tab key to confirm. And then it takes me back to my main menu. So now if we go into the library, it's not there. Look at that. It's gone forever. Okay. Um, under help, that just takes you to, oh, I forgot to finish the settings. I'm sorry. Menu manager, backup, restore BrailleSense settings, view device name, quick start guide, password protection. I think that maybe where you can like save passwords. I'm not entirely sure. Initialize BrailleSense options, which I think is like reset to defaults. Reinstall default apps. Voice options, where you can change the speech. This thing does come with text to speech, I just don't use it. Language profiles, where you can change the language. BrailleSense global options, where you can adjust things sort of like, well, I can go through that. Android backup and reset, and Android system settings. In the BrailleSense global options, we have a scroll voice off LCD, flip LCD display, LCD font size, show virtual braille display on HDMI. That's where, like, I think I have mine on, so you guys should be able to see the braille display of what's on my display, as well as, like, the print of what's on my screen. System alerts, that can be set to beep, vibrate mode. I don't have it vibrate. That's cool. Battery alert, play power on slash off sound. It's really kind of annoying, but it's cool. Left scroll buttons are set to scroll display. Right scroll buttons also set to scroll display. You can change those to move by line, move by character, move by paragraph, move by sentence, or scroll display. Skip empty lines, control information, hide passwords, hotkey information, announce shortcut keys, power button operation. I have mine on screen off. It can also be set to deep sleep. Sleep mode kick in, check today's schedule, one-handed mode, enable spell check, automatic spell checker language, default notepad document type, default web search, automatic synchronize with time server, time announcement, progress indicator, Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, screen reader hints, screen reader control information. Okay. I'm gonna assume that you guys just like get what I mean about having a lot of settings and not read the rest, if that's okay. Um okay, then we have the Play Store. This is where you can download apps for Android. Not every app on the Play Store is going to be accessible. There is no guarantee. There is, however, an app installer that they created where they have apps that are going to be accessible. I've already downloaded Spotify and a few others, but like there's Amazon Alexa, there's Amazon Kindle, Apple Music, Atmosphere, Audials Play, Audible, BBC Sounds, Be My Eyes, Chirp, Dolphin Easy Reader, Envision AI, eSpeak NG, Learning Ally, which is an audiobooks thing for like textbooks, Libby, which is through your local library, Lookout, Microsoft Edge, Netflix, Pandora, Scribd, Zero, Streamsphere, TuneIn Radio, and that's all. Okay. Oh, and like YouTube, but I already downloaded that one. And Google Meet. I already downloaded that one too. And DoorDash is apparently really accessible in here. Oh my gosh, quick thing. For any blind person that uses DoorDash and is annoyed by how inaccessible it now is on iPhone, on the BrailleSense, it's surprisingly really accessible. So, if you're struggling with that and annoyed about it, if you have a BrailleSense or are getting a BrailleSense, never fear, it works. Okay. Now, I just want to show you guys a few things that I find interesting really quick. One thing is going to be the notepad and just kind of some basic stuff about it. So when you open the notepad, it's got this document that I was using to test. I'm going to do select all with enter A and then delete with the backspace key. It's going to say delete selected text. I'm going to hit yes. Now I'm going to start typing in this new document it created out of nowhere. It opens a new document. If you don't already have something open that you're typing in, it opens a blank document as soon as you open the notepad. I have found that I use the notepad, not the word processor, but that's because I'm creating documents for myself. So let's type, good afternoon. This is a basic test of the BrailleSense notepad functionality. And for my sighted viewers, you guys should be able to see that on the screen now. I'm going to hit Enter S and save this file. I have my files being saved as a BRL, and I'm going to call this test number 1. And it's going to save. Now that I've done that, I can go into my file manager, go to my flash disk, my documents folder, oops. Now, there's an easier way to do this, actually. Never mind. Hold on. So good word boxes there. I'm sorry. Okay. Now that I'm already in this document, actually, let's hang on. I'm trying to figure out the best way to do what I want to do and not bore you guys by having to go through a bunch of steps. Okay, got it. I'm gonna hit this. Alright, test number 1.brl. For some reason, it called itself .brl twice. I'm gonna delete this. There we go. Okay. Can you find so down? Okay. I'm going to copy. And then I'm going to hit my SD card. I'm in the file manager, by the way. Now I'm gonna go to where it says documents on my SD card. And I'm just gonna go back for people who are blind that are watching this because I don't think I described that well enough. I went to my documents folder in my flash disk. I pressed enter. I hit space with .1 until I saw my file. And then I hit enter C to copy. Then I hit backspace twice to go into my list of drives. I hit spaced with with .4 once until I saw my SD card. I hit enter. Then I went to my documents folder on my SD card, and I'm going to do enter with V to paste. Now it's on my SD card. I could also do this with any of my cloud storage options as long as I'm connected to Wi-Fi. So if I wanted to put this in my Dropbox in a folder that I shared with someone else, for instance, in a folder I shared with a teacher or with an employer, I could just paste this document in there and they would be able to see it too. A few things to note about collaborating documents. At this time, the word processor and Notepad do not support real-time editing with other people, even if it's in Google Drive or Dropbox. Now, if someone does edit once you're no longer in there, when you go back, you can see it, and vice versa. But if two people are trying to edit the document at the same time, that doesn't work. You would need to use the Google Docs app on the Play Store. And I have found, just to be honest and upfront, that even though these Google apps are supported, they're not as easy to use or as user friendly for blind people as the word processor or the notepad, whatever. They're just not. And honestly, I don't feel comfortable using them. That does not mean that someone else who has more experience or more patience wouldn't feel comfortable using them, but that's just something that I don't really do. So now at this point, I'm going to open this up for you guys to ask any questions that you have. This will be available later as a video, so if you want to like go back and watch it, you absolutely can. But if anyone has any questions or anything they want me to cover, I would be happy to do that at this point. I just want to thank you guys for watching. Again, I've been wanting to do a video like this for a long time, and so I'm really glad that I got the opportunity to. I'll probably be doing more like shorter tutorial videos. I had someone tell me I should do like a reference sheet with some basics about this device, and I think that's a great idea. I will be working on that, and once that is finished, I'll have that available if anyone wants it. Um, so yeah, at this point, I'm gonna be checking my live chat for questions. Okay, I don't think I have any questions. Let me just refresh this just to make sure, because I am watching signed out of my YouTube, and I know sometimes YouTube can just be a little strange. Um, so give me just 1 second. Nope. Okay, awesome. Well, again, thank you guys so much for watching. I had a lot of fun doing this, and if you guys like this sort of format and want me to do it about other Braille devices, I also have a Mantis Q40, a Brilliant BI20X, a Chameleon 20, and an NLS e-reader that I am more than happy to talk about. I also have a Sense player by HIMS, which I'd be willing to talk about as well.